it going? It's Grant with Garden of Eater. Got the baby here. Shelby will be here in a minute. Today we are talking about the basics, like a beginner's guide for anybody that wants to keep shrimp, whether they're keeping Caridina, Neocaridina, or Sulase, whatever it be. This is going to be a great guide, pretty versatile for all of the types of dwarf shrimp. Also, don't forget, it is the holiday season. So every stream from now through the new year, we will be doing giveaways. Got quite a few of them planned out for today. We have first to start off with is one of the last of the TGOE t-shirts. This is a V-neck. It is size double XL. It is the last one of this size. So if you are able to wear this, you fit in this, you have a relative or somebody like that you'd love to see wearing some TGOE merch, this one's for you. So hashtag TGOE to get in on the t-shirt giveaway. That's not all. We've got plenty more to give away. Not that t-shirt, but other stuff. Also, last week I promised those who weren't able to watch the live stream live that there would also be a giveaway for them. And there was, with the whole snail count thing. It was 92. And then I forgot off the top of my head who won it, but there's like 3 people that were really close, and they're all like people who watch the channel. So, on top of that, I've got another giveaway that I didn't do last week, so I plan on doing that during this live stream. So, with tonight's live stream being a beginner's guide, I'm going to give you my very first tip, and that is do not chase parameters. Figure out what your tap water is. Get a test kit. The API drops are great. If you get the freshwater master test kit, sadly, it does not include GH and KH drops. So you have to buy those separately. It is Cyber Monday, so maybe there's some deals on those. I have not had any time to look at any Cyber Monday deals at all, so I don't know exactly what's out there, but the API drops are great. The Sarah drops are great. The Fluva ones, I'm not really happy with how long. Like, it's a 20-25 minute wait for the ammonia test, I believe, or something like that. And then the sorry, just trying to get the lighting good. That's fine. That's fine. It's better than what it was before. But the API drops, they're really accurate. The Sarah drops are a little bit more accurate. So that's just because they can be tested with a larger volume water. You can get larger beaker sizes and do that same test with the API, just using more drops and some math to figuring that one out, right? But once you got your tap water figured out, then you can figure out what kind of shrimp you want. A lot of times I do not recommend Sulase shrimp with tap water. It's just not consistent enough. And if the number one thing that I have to recommend everybody is consistency is key. Keep doing what you're doing. If you get pregnant shrimp, if you get babies, don't stop doing your water changes. Do them the same way with the same water. Don't change it up, because you change it up, you're going to have stalling in your breeding or growth, or you stress them out. And if you're already having babies or pregnant shrimp, continue to do the water changes the way you were doing them. But by all means, especially with shrimp and breeding and getting numbers and stuff like that, don't not do water changes. Just because you're getting babies and you're having pregnant shrimp and stuff like that, by not doing water changes at first, eventually the shrimp are going to catch up to you and you can have a shrimp crash. So you definitely want to be doing your water changes. Stay on top of things. I know why Shelby pulled this one up right off the bat. You want me to hold the baby, though? You tuck her a little soon.
So I just have to make a quick shout out to Oinky. Thank you so much for joining us every week. And I appreciate this beautiful necklace that she sent me. It's hard to see. I don't know if it's our camera quality right now.
No, it doesn't work.
No.
It's
but
flashy.
It says it says the Garden of Eden, and it's absolutely perfect. I love it so much. Thank you so much. Cannot say how excited I was. I thought it was just something for the baby, because everyone's just sending something for the baby, and I'm like opening it up, and I'm like, that's a necklace. That's not for the baby. Thank you so much, Oinky. Back to class.
So, anyways, I don't recommend tap water for Sulawesi, but if you're testing your water parameters, and pretty much if you don't have 0 TDS coming out of your tap water constantly, then you're going to want to go ahead and go with an RO unit if you're going to do Caridina shrimp and then add back minerals. But if you're not doing Caridina shrimp and say you're doing Neocaridina, you still need to test your tap water, because there are parts of the United States where there are not enough minerals in the water. They go through a water softener plant, and it strips out a lot of the GH, it leaves a lot of the KH behind. And then what ends up happening is the shrimp do not have enough minerals in the water to molt. There is ways that you can add it back minerals into the water. I definitely don't recommend even trying it if your water's gone through a water softener. In like the last 3 years, that's one of the biggest things I've figured out with the people that have like just tried over and over and over and over, especially at these shows, Louisiana, some of the people that are closer to the coast in the Carolinas, where their waters are also up north, where their water is super, super soft. The water softener, and they're like, oh, I just gave up on shrimp. And I'm like, well, you probably want to try using RO water and adding back these minerals. And I've had a couple of people come back to me now and say, yeah, you're absolutely right. Some people in our club that were having issues because they have a water softener on their house, not necessarily their water plant itself, but here in Florida, a lot of the areas have really hard water. Some of the areas have a lot of iron and sulfur in the water, so they go through these water softener filters before they go into the house. And if you're using that water, it's not really the best water for your shrimp. But chances are 90% of the people have perfect tap water for Neocaridina shrimp. And if that's the case, and you've got, say, 150 TDS out the tap water, even over 100, you can still get away if you have over 5 GH. 5 GH is key. Also, you're going to want to be looking for 3 KH. So the combination of those two numbers right there is all you need. Anything higher is pretty much just a bonus. I honestly don't believe that the water can be too hard out of anybody's tap water for Neocaridina. I've heard of 1200 TDS, and I've had Caridina shrimp surviving in 1200 TDS from someone's aquarium that they just were not taking care of it anymore, and the water dropped down to this much. So that's harder water is not an issue. It's the soft water that's a problem. And then again, if you have perfect tap water, a little bit of dechlorinator, take the chlorine or chloramine out of your water, and then just use that for your water changes consistently every single time. Don't use that water to top off. Put a lid on the tank or get some RO water, some distilled water to top the tank off. And then all of your parameters should stay relatively on point. As long as you don't use too much fertilizer, you don't overfeed or anything like that, then you're going to be just fine with using your tap water, a little bit of prime or complete, something to take out those chlorines.
Evelyn Creek Aquatics, member for 23 months. Thank you so much. Almost at that 2-year mark. Says, look at that beautiful baby. Thank you so much. She just fell asleep to Grant's voice. She didn't even need the pacifier. She was just like slowly closed her eyes, and now she's almost asleep. It's just a little crack now.
I think the most she hears me talk, though, is really on Mondays.
Yeah.
So
puts her right to sleep.
I've been quite busy.
And SFW, I said that backwards. SWFL Aquatics says water changes versus topping off tank.
So again, you can't just top off. You got to take the water out. A lot of the common things that I'm finding with a lot of the farms, a lot of the bigger breeders, Greg Sage, when he came over and talked, he spoke about hormones and pheromones. And if you're not taking those out of the water, your shrimp could be, or your fish could be stressing. They could be not producing because there's too many of one hormone. So like there's just so many benefits in taking water out and replacing it with clean water. And I honestly feel the more successful you want to be, you should do water. It's not impossible to do low maintenance and top offs and have, good looking, healthy tanks. But the majority of the people that try it out that way have so many issues. It's not an easy way. However, if you can swap out your water and you can maintain those same water parameters every single time, there's no reason why you can't do 90 to 100% water changes or 150% water changes. How do you do that? Well, you fill as you're draining at the same time. And we've done that with several of our tanks here in the house where we got, people coming over to film, and I got to take out green water or one of the Stardust tank. Always look, I've mentioned this 1,000 times probably. It always looks like cloudy dust, like someone's just in there chain smoking the whole time. And it's healthy, but to get any photo or to see the 1,000 shrimp that are in that tank, I got to do like a 90% water change. And then maybe a 50% water change the day that they come over at the same time, because it's that ridiculously dirty. They like a lot of food. They're aggressive, but they produce a lot of shrimp. So I'm 100% for water changes. The more you do, the better. A lot of the fish tours and stuff like that I've seen, Shane's, Patrick's of the Cichlid Barn, those two have constant flow of water going in and out. Greg Sage's setup, they do constant water changes, and their tanks and setups are like algae free. Algae is always in the way and always a problem. So the less algae in my aquariums, the less work I'm having to do. So overall, I prefer having a lot of water changes. Sorry.
Heflin said, chatted with your buddy of yours in Quad City Swap, Mike Esposito. Great guy.
Mike is the uncle that is not related to us whatsoever. He is 100% family, though. I don't know another person in the hobby that loves shrimp more and has done more for the hobby across just about every single shrimp contest except for Daytona, which he only missed because Mike's a legend. It was out fishing, fell, broke his leg, still spent the entire day fishing, and found out later that his knee was broken. So he's healing that off. But yeah, he's great. Just sent him a box today. But all of the ocean blues that we have on our website, I didn't trust the ones that came in from the imports. I wait for Mike to get his hands on it. He breeds them, and then he sends them to me. So I've got literally thousands. Mike only ordered 5. I doubled it because, like, why are you buying them off of me? Like, just take it. On top of the sale, he got like triple the shrimp.
Mike said, will Neo David I cross with City League?
I believe so. There's been other people in the past who have claimed that it's not possible, but we've had snowballs breeding with some of our other shrimp, and I don't know exactly which one of the is, but all of our Neos breed with all of the Neos that we have.
Tube Dog said, even if I have an RO unit, how do I reduce my KH? Should I water change without using the B shrimp and just use the RO water to refill the tank?
So you need to make sure that the B shrimp minerals are GH only. If the minerals are GH only and your RO water has 0 GH and 0 KH in it, then the water that you change the tank with will have 0 KH. So you go ahead and do like a 50% water change, and then that should, in theory, cut your KH of the tank in half. And then every time you do that until it's down to a reasonable level. Also, any good substrate that still has, a good amount of life in it should have some absorption powers to suck up some of that KH. So if there's still KH in the water and the substrate isn't doing that, maybe look into swapping out the substrate or adding in another layer of substrate. Maybe the substrate layer is a little bit too thin. Also, did you add any stone into the tank, like limestone, mountain stone, something that could also raise the KH on you, especially with having RO water? It's going to pull out those, strip those minerals off of the stone.
Rusty said, have you ever seen a female shrimp with just one egg?
Yeah, sometimes it means she dropped all of them. Sometimes it means just that one egg hasn't hatched yet. With some of the hybrids, the eggs hatch at different times. So it's not uncommon to have that one egg that's just holding on, that's just got an extra thick shell.
And like you said, you're an absolute rock star. Cannot imagine maintaining that many tanks without a lot of hands to help. He really is a rock star. I have nothing to do with that.
She was saying you and rock stars. And
I know.
it is
but water
you.
Changes come down to mainly
Yeah, but you do everything else, so I can do the water changes.
Yeah. All right, back to class.
By the way, hashtag TGOE for the t-shirt. You missed it. We should do that giveaway in 13 minutes. There's something in the cup?
Oh, it looks like a different color. Am I just seeing things? Is it lighting? Looks like green tea.
No, it's good. It's fine. You want this one? It looks probably the same.
They must look weird to me.
It's just the lighting.
I can't do it.
It's just the lighting, I swear. It's because your green t-shirt and all these lights. I swear. I swear. It's not poison. I drank both of them.
Okay.
Drank both of them.
That's because one sip isn't going to do it, right?
Or I drank the antidote already, and I'm getting you. All right, now. So, don't chase your parameters. Chances are your tap water is good enough for neocaridina. And then you want to focus on a simple setup. For us, these 10-gallon tanks and the cheap sponge filters, the dual suction cup sponge filters have been incredible for us. However, with dealing with 500 tanks, and now we are 10 years into the game, like half of our tanks now have floating sponge filters. None of these ones are new. They're only like a year and a half old.
Some of them on this rack that are a year and a half old are floating.
Yeah, there's a floating one there. There's yeah.
Crazy.
And every single time we do a water change, I try to put them back. I clean the glass. I've boiled the suction cups. I've cleaned the suction cups. I've put on new suction cups. I've super glued the suction cups. It's a lot of work, and most of it just doesn't work. So for the new room, we've upgraded to the aquarium sponge filters. They are not running yet. It is the shipping season extravaganza for UPS and USPS and FedEx. It's really their Olympics or Super Bowl, if you want to say it, these last 2 weeks, and our substrate's not here yet. So there's no water in the tanks. I haven't tried these bad boys out yet, but I am excited to not have to ever mess with them. Yes, we have to squeeze the sponges out to clean them out every now and then, but even with these guys, it's made the job a little bit easier. Also, the air collar on them is really nice. The plastic was very nice, high quality. By the way, Robert, it's the first time I've actually seen Robert Downey Jr., sir. It's the first time I've seen you on since I've seen you in Aquashella. Thank you so much. It was delicious. But we cut up and modded a bunch of these filters. We've got a bunch of these stickers. If anybody puts Aquarium Co-op sticker in the notes on any of their orders, we will throw in one of these for free. So I see Toot Dog asked if we're using the Airstone. No, because these collars that came with them are designed that you don't need an Airstone with them. And they are, I like the collar. They're really good design. And it's a lot different than the collars that are in these sponge filters. It's easier to, looks like they'll be a lot easier to clean out. He had a method to like use a syringe to clean them out, which I think my thumb is still fat enough that I can just stick it on the end of the collar still and blow it out with the nozzle to the hose. So I'm going to try that, but if that doesn't work, we'll be getting like a little syringe setup to clean them all out. But sponge filters are what I'm talking about. That's what I'm getting at. Simple setup. Doesn't matter what kind of sponge filter you use. These Aquarium Co-op, though, will be less maintenance moving forward. There's a reason why Benny Tay uses them. We had some speculation about them in chat, so we're giving these a go. And we do have a couple extras, so if I like them, I'll be swapping some of the floaters in the house out with the new ones. And we also have all the ones that we won at the Baton Rouge show, too. We forgot all about that. But they're like bigger ones, I think.
Monkey says, have you ever found any type of wood to change water parameters more than the others, assuming it wasn't a gargantuan piece of course?
Dragonwood, that just smells. It just smells. It reeks. Not talking about the honeycomb wood or the shrimp wood, some people call it, that also call it dragonwood because it looks like dragon stone. But the twisty, branchy one, that for sure is a no-go. Besides that, none of the woods really alter parameters that much. Like, I wouldn't rely on any of the woods to lower my pH or anything like that for Caridina shrimp. It might work a little bit for cories and plecos and stuff like that, where you're dropping a ton of tannins and tea and other things like that. But Mopani and the Malaysian wood would probably be two that release the most amount of black water. And that might drop the pH a little bit more than others. I haven't really tested it out. In most cases, it's only like a point or two difference.
Like I said, I ordered shrimp, but I forgot to put in the notes that I want them all autographed. Funny.
I don't got the mini tattoo kit yet. Yeah, and I need to practice. It's gonna take some time. So simple setup. We got at least a 10-gallon tank is what I recommend. Anything smaller than 10 gallons, I see that the growth size of the shrimp isn't as big as the 10s and larger tanks. They take longer to grow that size, and I do see like breeding is significant, not significantly. If you're getting 10 batches of babies a year out of a 10-gallon tank, you might only get 9 out of like a 7.5 gallon or 8 out of a 5-gallon tank, right? And then no heater. Room temperature is like the best thing that I would recommend. As long as you don't live somewhere where the temperature is swinging, like in Arizona, and you leave all the doors and windows and stuff like that open. If you keep your house at 70 to 76 or even 68 to 80 degrees temperature is good for Neos. I would keep it under 76 for Caridina. But room temperature is probably the best for Neo Caridina and Caridina shrimp. And then you don't have to worry about a heater failure or anything like that. Yeah, anything for me? No? All right. And then substrate, anything inert is good for Neo Caridina. We use a lot of the Samurai soil, the Eco Complete. We've used a lot of the blasting sand. Shelby's got a plethora now of different substrates from Pisces. And I'm sure we'll have some Neo Caridina shrimp on each color and style in the new
Or
room.
just a little mix of everything at this.
Yeah. So,
I just mixed a bunch of substrates together.
well, if it's a mix of bunch of substrates, it's going outside in one of the ponds. But then for Carradina shrimp, still to this day, the gold standard for us is Brightwell Substrate. Like we had a couple of bags that we pulled out for the new rack, and we twisted them up, sealed them off, and there's still moisture in the bag, and they're still good to use for the new rack. So they're just waiting on more, and I like them all to be cycled and running at the same time. So we are waiting on that, but and then a good lid on the top of the aquarium. We make our lids out of the double polycarbonated panels. You can buy them at Lowe's and Home Depot in 4-foot by 8-foot sections. If you're looking to do a bunch of tanks, you can buy them in like 2-foot sheets. If you're just looking to do, a couple tanks or just one tank, you can buy them hopefully in a smaller cut size. And there are people online too that sell the double polycarbonated lids, but then you're paying for shipping, so it might not be that cheap. Got anything?
Mike said, how low is your current temperature in the Neo tanks with the drop in weather?
I don't know. Inside, everything is stable at 70 degrees now. Not like in the summer where the house might get to like 74 degrees and some of the tanks might rise to like 72. Outside, though, it is cold. Like I can tell you, I feel real bad for Shelby having to go out in the Neo Carradina ponds. Like,
it's not fun. We do have a video on like one of the coldest winters, and Grant goes out and he takes a temp gun and videotapes the temperature of each tub and shows you how low it really does go. What was the lowest? In the 30s, right?
So we had temperatures in the 26 degrees, and we had 2.5 inches, not 2.5, an inch and a half ice in our muck buckets. And when I temp the water on the surface of that, it was reading about 28 degrees. So the number might be off a little bit. But yeah, the top of that water was definitely cold.
Kayla said, is the 10-gallon recommendation the same for Opa-Ula?
You might be able to get away with Opa-Ula and not having to do any size bigger than like a 5-gallon, because Opa-Ula are smaller compared to cherries and Neo Carradina anyways. So I've never really tested that out. We've always had the Opa-Ula in a single 10-gallon tank. It's the same one. It's the only one we have right now. But actually, no, it did get upgraded. It's not the original tank. The old tank's in the garage. But it's we've always done a 10-gallon tank at least, and they're smaller, so you might be able to get away with doing a smaller size tank. We also had somebody today or yesterday, just recently, Opa-Ula from Hawaii. Like, we're not allowed to ship live animals to Hawaii, but like they're native there. You've got to be able to get a better source for Opa-Ula than mine. Unless they were wanting the yellows, then I feel bad.
I feel like they would have put that in the notes. So.
Yeah, but I've already said I'm not selling the yellows. So if they saw the post and they're like, well, I'll get the genetics and hopefully get my own yellows.
Yeah.
And I just had sent the denial for that. I feel bad. I don't know what the laws are on that because they are native.
Southwest Florida Aquatics. I have shrimp outside, Fort Myers, Florida. How does these cold fronts affect Neos? 50s in morning, 50, 75 in daytime.
So the first 2 years, I was really worried that when we were keeping the Neos outside, I was out there, and there was times where I thought all the shrimp were dead because you couldn't find any shrimp. You feed them usually, and they all come out, and then in the wintertime, they don't come out at all. I think it's something like a natural defense. They go into dormancy, and they just kind of don't move, and they all huddle up in whatever safest spot they can find, which is out of sight. I find a lot of them under the sponge filters. There's a little drain plug for the IBC totes. I imagine there's probably like 1,000 of them just chilling out in that drain plug. But they really don't eat much. They do come out on the really warm days, and like you can see them all on the sides of the pond. They're like sun tanning, trying to warm back up. But I don't worry about them anymore. They've survived 5 years now, probably outside, and it's gotten cold. One year, some of the fish farms, it was catastrophic. I'm not gonna try it. It was really bad.
You had it, right?
I know, but if I do it again, I'm gonna butcher it worse. And they lost a lot of fish, like 75%. I know some of them got insurance, but it's tragic losing that many animals, right? So we're really lucky that we never lose any shrimp because of the cold.
Brian said, did you ever send a shrimp to space?
We sent them to space, but they did not survive the travels back. There was a crash landing and no survivors. But we do have green jades that were put to sleep and then not brought back to life, but reawoken.
I want to know what the word is for that either.
Reawakened.
Scotty
Revived.
said, my Obulus are in a 2.5 gallon and produce like crazy. No filter. Do not feed them. Water change maybe twice a year and have them in the front of a window.
Yeah, I just don't know how big they get or how long it takes. There's so many. Like I don't really pay attention to that. Don't do this one. We got to do the giveaway. Hashtag TGOE4. I'm sorry, Toot Dog. You'll be next. A double XL TGOE V-neck T-shirt. It is the last one in this size. Besides this, it is only mediums and smalls. So, oinky, I could send you like 5 shirts if you want. And when the shirts are gone, we're going to buy new shirts because then we'll have room. We have replaced our shirt container really with food container that will be on the website after this weekend. All right.
Wine Master Supreme and forever.
Well,
Yeah.
So just send her the actual size.
Yeah, but if you want that size too, you can have all of them. I'll be honest. If anybody places an order on the website and it's over $100, again, we have mediums and smalls only. Just put in the notes that you would like a t-shirt and we will give you one of the t-shirts for free. So that is for watching the channel and supporting us. And then also you can put this in the notes and get a free sticker. So there's some free stuff to be given out. Back to me.
Oh, I had one. Okay. Tolstoy said, what factors determine whether shadow pandas show blue versus white stripes? Temperature, light, pH?
So for the most part, the lower pH is going to be better for most blue bolts. And then you're also going to want a higher GH. And then on top of that, light is going to help with pigment for all shrimp. So a brighter light or longer light setup is always the best. I find that these full spectrum LED lights, though, work great for the pigment of the shrimp and don't produce a lot of algae. And we're still able to run them for like a good 16 hours a day. I've seen issues with shrimp where they only get like 8 hours of light and no real like window light or anything like that. The shrimp that are outside and the shrimp that are near the windows definitely look a little bit better. It's because they're getting a little suntan, and that's in the form sunscreen is the pigment.
Tolstoy put to sleep in cryo chambers like in Aliens. No, it was clove oil, right?
Yeah, they use clove oil, but I don't know if they're like in individual test tubes or like all in one tank.
They didn't really show that process to us. They were supposed to, but because it failed, we didn't even get video of it. We only got video of it going up and like crashing.
I think I know what I want Alex to draw me now, though. Draw me as like an engineer, and I'm putting little shrimp into space capsules into a rocket. That's perfect for Alex to draw. I hope he's watching. If he's not, I gotta message him.
Make sure to email us at the Garden of Garden of Email. Garden of Eater, gmail.com. So you send me your address so I can send out that shirt for you. Are we doing another giveaway?
I'm not saying anything else to Alex except for shrimp space capsules. That's it. I'll see if he figures it out.
What's wrong with you?
All right, where were we? Did we do the
giveaway?
We're doing another giveaway. This one is going to be for a $25 gift card for the website TGOE Shrimp, and then I want to talk about another giveaway. Did we do Toop Dog? Did we skip
It wasn't Toop Dog.
Who was it? I'm so sorry.
Tolstoy. We already did it. Yeah,
Okay.
you're just
I'm
blind.
sorry.
I was trying to ignore the fact that you can't see.
I am blind.
What's the hashtag for this one? Same thing?
No, not same thing. Hashtag 25.
You do it. You're up there.
Oh man.
You got this.
There you go.
Sometimes, hello.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought hashtag 25 for a $25 gift card. And then on top of that, I was just reading this. I'm sorry. I didn't want to give away the code, and I want to make sure. All right. So we have a code that I want to give away, and I'm not saying when it's going to be given away, but it's during some of the holiday live stream. So I just want to talk about it real quick. The kids really enjoyed this game, and then I will also say that they've learned and they've been way more interested in the actual maintenance around the house. Like they actually know what I'm doing when I'm working in the tanks, and they're just more involved, and they really, really did enjoy this. I don't remember off the top of my head how much the code costs. It's like $25 or $20 or something like that. But
conveniently hashtag
yeah, it's just when something like that is being used, and something like my kids are using it, you know, it's got to be good, because they could have been bull riding, they could have been doing all sorts of things during Aquashella, and they were doing that. So
Wonky wants to know what's in your on your shirt. It's Aquachar.
if you don't know the story, we've got a video. I think we got a live stream all about Aquachar also. But yeah, it is like a natural carbon remover. Not carbon remover, but activated carbon, a natural alternative. I don't know, my throat is so dry all of a sudden. I'm struggling. You don't got nothing for me?
No, not yet. What are we on?
So you can talk about that. That's for sure. You can talk about that. Why you want to do that.
Oh, okay. So I'll take over for a second so he can stop being cottonmouth while he's trying to talk. So the next thing you definitely want to do is make sure you get a good source for your shrimp. And we suggest you buy homebred shrimp. They're usually a lot more hardy than imported shrimp. Imports are usually obviously good for something new and interesting in the hobby, but a lot of times there is just way too much risk involved into it. You want homebred because they're just hardier. You have a lot of local places will be your best choice for that. Now, I'm not talking like local pet stores. Try to find someone locally breeding them, maybe online, Facebook. Go into a local club if you have one, or reaching out on Facebook on some of these groups. You can, like, I'm in search of this specific type of shrimp, but don't be afraid to ship either. Most of the shrimp will make it, especially if they're homebred from someone. They will usually make it in shipping. That's another clear sign that they are homebred, is if they do make it in shipping for a while. Sorry, she's distracting me. But locally is usually the best way to do it, because they're already breeding on your same parameters. So, like, I have 170 TDS here, and Tampa has like 800 TDS. So there's a big difference in water parameters there, where if I have someone that's already breeding them on these parameters, I'd rather choose them. It would just make it easier for the transition. But that being said, Neocaridina transition very well. Like, we take ours every year to the Florida State Fair. I know. She's fully sleeping doing that. She had her vaccines today, so she's a little uncomfortable, to say the least. Yeah. And Mike says, do you have a reliable source for super blonde guppies?
No. I've never heard of those. We have some albino snake skins that look really cool, but not available. We sold them all at Aquashella Daytona. So you told them about like homebred, local source being the best because it's the closest to your water parameters, and your setup can be identical to theirs. As long as you hit those topics, you did a great job, and the people know it's on point. You know, they know. Give me my notes back. I'm pointless without them. All right. So, then the next thing is you've got your tank. You've got your shrimp figured out, which ones you're going to get because you know your water. Now you've got your shrimp. Now let's get into water changes. So for us, we do 50% water changes every 2 to 3 weeks. I would love to get to them every 2 weeks. We just got 2 more CJ pumps. I'm hoping that I can actually get more than 50 tanks done a day and get all of the tanks done every 2 weeks and still have like 4 days off every 2 weeks, right? So ideally we ship 2 of those days. I would, or 4 of those days. So I'd love an extra 2 days off during the weeks that we could go do something else, right? So we do 50% water changes. I mix my water the night before. Even if you're not mixing your water and you're doing tap water, and just it's good water, Shelby. It's lighting, okay? I promise you. Okay, if you start acting funny on the live stream, I'll give you the antidote, okay? But totally spacing now. Doing your water changes, taking the water out, 50%. You can take the water out as fast as you want, but we mix our water beforehand. That's where I was at. The night before, even if you don't mix your water, it's good to put the tap water in a barrel or a bucket and let it sit overnight, because if you're having your water just room temp with no heater or anything like that, then the water in the bucket or barrel or whatever you use for your water changes is going to match up. It's going to be the same water temperature. You're not going to have to heat it or anything like that to get it ready for the aquarium. And then filling up your tanks, I recommend not a drip. Drip takes forever. It just, the more maintenance and the more work people have to do, the longer they spend doing their maintenance, the less interested they're going to be in the hobby, and it's not going to keep them around as long. I recommend filling up the tank as fast as you can without the substrate in the bottom of the tank going all over the place and causing, little earthquake rumbles and stuff like that. So as long as the substrate isn't moving at all, fill the water up, have a little adjuster valve somewhere on the hose or the nozzle to fill up the tank, and you can fill it up. As long as the parameters match. If the TDS is the same and the temperature is the same, then you're good to go. For Caridina, you might want to go a little bit slower just because the pH isn't going to be the same, but as it mixes with the water in the tank, as it goes across the substrate, you are going to see that pH kind of stable out. And the shrimp can take a little bit of a fluctuation in pH during the water change, because it's like fresher water, cleaner water. It's going to be good for them regardless if that pH goes up and then back down just a little bit. It does that throughout the day in most tanks anyways. All right. So that's pretty much water changes. And then food, we feed, or do you want to do this? Yeah.
Grant said, "Hi, having random deaths in my PRL tank. Looks like molting problem. Checked parameters, all good, but pH at 5. Any help is appreciated."
So I wouldn't be worried about the pH. I would be more concerned about the GH in the tank, and how often are you doing water changes and stuff like that. 5 pH is great. Like I would honestly be happy if all of our tanks are at 5 pH, because then they're all going to be, if there's a good inch or two of substrate, they're all going to last for another 3 to 4 or 5 years even. So I need more parameters than that to help you out. How random are the deaths? Is it one death every day? If so, then you might have a bacteria infection. And then one of our hottest products right now is Plamski Cure. That's the one product we've had to restock from Plamski twice now. It sells. People are telling us all the time how it works and how it's helping out with their issues and stuff like that. I haven't had anybody say, that product really didn't work for me or anything like that. So if it is a bacterial infection, we do need to do another video on that one, because our last bacterial infection video, I didn't even know about Plamski's Cure. That's a product that we figured out about this year. We had a couple of tanks that we moved from Plamski here that had issues, and that it pretty much 4 days, no more deaths. And I was doing everything from the ripping out bags of ancient Carib Sea Indian almond leaves and doing the massive water changes, and I wasn't being able to keep up with it or get ahead of the problem. And then the Plamski Cure in 4 days worked great. Never had a death. And in the tank again afterwards. Now I got to take up. I drank too much water.
That's going to drive me crazy. Also, it's good sometimes just to, even if you don't want to do it here and you just want to message us the exact parameters, like each TDS to your KH to GH, because there might be something you might think are good parameters that are all good, but it might just be thrown off sometimes. Especially with the molting issue, it might be not enough minerals, because that can happen too. Very low TDS, very low pH, you might not have enough minerals for them to be molting properly, or just diet in general. You want to have a good variety, and if you don't have any of that,
I wasn't listening. I was trying to remember something.
What's the food that helps molt? I'm just
Chitin?
drawing a blank. No more minerals. Sorry, mineral food.
Mineral junkie?
Yeah, like mineral junkie, and you got shrimp envies, the shell envy. That works really well.
But the other thing you might want to check is like your pH in the morning compared to the pH at nighttime. There might be some drastic pH swinging there. But if you're doing like really low TDS and your TDS is only at 110, we were having deaths. And this was what I was trying to remember. That's why I wasn't listening to you. We were having, when we tried 110 TDS, we were having deaths until 100. We brought it back up from 110 to 130 TDS, and then we weren't getting any breeding until I brought it from 130 up to 140. Got breeding again, brought it up to 150, got more breeding. Now we're at 160. Maybe we'll try 170 on a rack or row in Shelby's tank, or she's going even higher than that. I can't remember, but it's definitely helps the more minerals in the water in our experience for shrimp. I think there's something over in Asia that they have in their water that maybe it's just the massive water changes that they do where it's taking out the hormones or something, but I think there's something in their water that we're not testing for that's over there. Benny agreed with me. It's not in the water in Singapore either, where he lives. There's definitely something different in Taiwan, in Thailand, and where they're breeding all of these shrimp out.
So Bugsy said, what happens with a questionable source for shrimp?
So like for us, if we're trying to get a new variety and it's coming from a questionable source, quarantine. Keep it off in its own tank. Don't mix it in with your other tanks. Practice cross-contamination. If you use a net for that tank, make sure you clean it, or even better is just have a tent. We've got a pretty much a net for every single tank because we don't have to clean them. We don't ever have to really worry about any cross-contamination issues. So when you use your hose for the water change, make that the last hose, and then make sure you really clean it with rubbing alcohol or some corrosive hydrogen peroxide or coral dip or something like that. So you definitely want to practice quarantine and cross-contamination practices that are going to prevent getting ELO or Scutellalia or whatever it is, Japonica, to some of your other tanks.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just a bunch of pests that can come with imports, like he was saying, and a lot of them you can't save that shrimp from it. You could try. Most people are not successful with it. Nathan had stuffed peppers. I have not had stuffed peppers since I was like really young. I kind of want some, but no one else in the family would like it probably. Mike says, do you ship shrimp with anything that may contain snail eggs?
Yeah. No, not anymore.
Yeah.
We have, but no. Our shrimp go into poly bags or breather bags, depending on the type of the shrimp, and a little bit of mesh and some purgin. We don't put. So if you're looking at little white balls all in the bag, that's purgin. But no mosses. So if you're worried about snails, there might be a little snail in the bag sometimes.
But usually you drip acclimate your shrimp, so just keep an eye out. But most of the time it's not, but sometimes you can get a Malaysian trumpet snail because they do reproduce and then all the babies just float on top. So sometimes it's not preventable for us to do that, but most of the time, like 90% of the time, you do not get them.
And we do our best to take them out of the tanks, but sometimes like the shrimp will be on top of one and I won't see it. So
it happens.
I try.
But you'll see the actual snail. It wouldn't be snail eggs. That's for sure.
Right.
If you do get plants from us, some of the plants can contain snail eggs.
Almost all the moss is going to have snail eggs or snails in it.
Bugsy's been lucky and not got anything, no snails or anything. It's mainly Malaysian trumpet snails. We don't have like the pest snails. It's either going to be ram's horns or Malaysian trumpet snails. Or like it's very rare you'll ever get a pond snail from us. I rarely have them outside too.
They don't do well in the low pH tanks. So.
Yeah. Well, I have them outside, and they're very, very slowly breeding compared to the ram's horns, and They've
got a softer shell.
Yeah.
And I think the frogs eat them.
Yeah, something's eating them. But I've been trying to produce them so that we could feed them to like some of the caiman if it's small enough. If we get a baby caiman.
These ram's horn snails are going to have their own tubs next year, and I'm going to be breeding out a ton of those, and I'm going to have like 6 more bins, and I'm going to have a ton of hornwort and guppy grass, and whatever doesn't sell is getting fed to the ram's horn snails. I'm sorry.
The product is Cure. It's on our website, tgoeshrimp.com.
We should probably like make a rack right there for all of our product, and then it's accessible during the live stream.
If you want to get rid of that weird thing you bought for a 10-gallon tank that we're never going to use and it's just kind of sitting there.
I'm going to use it and it's going to be beautiful one day.
You know what? I could use it in my little thing actually now. Little photography thing.
Oh, you can. Get a little wood base. Oh, I can stain it for you. I wanted to stain it. I want to make it look nice.
You're talking too much.
Sorry.
And then Grant says GHS 6 and TDS at 120.
See, that was our issue. Was I don't know what kind of minerals you're using, but I wasn't having any luck. Also, like the GH kits and stuff like that, some of them can be reading a little bit off. The drops are not always accurate. Sometimes they can be reading 20 TDS to 1 GH ratio, and they're really, 30 TDS to 1 GH ratio. So maybe your GH isn't as high as you thought it was. You got to take the test kits with a little bit of grain of sand. That's why I love using the TDS as my measurement. I don't do well with anything under 30. So you could have bacteria infection. You could have lack of minerals in the water.
Crown Tail, I did finally email you back. I'm so sorry that took so long. I'm awful. I just forgot to go in. It's where they are. I had to dig for a minute to find the print. But I did email you back a picture if you have that, or you want that one. Hagen Hill Design said, our baby is watching your baby. That's so cute. Can't take it. It's so cute. But,
She's like, I can't see her baby though.
She's cranky today.
Should I go?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, food. Speaking of food, can you hand me the baby?
Hungry.
Okay, hand me the baby, and then reach over and grab the other two things on the side. Hi. Oh, then
On
she
the
stuck
side
up her
of
hand
what?
and raised right there on the couch. Jaden was still playing his game when I put those over here. Yeah.
Grant, the only two things I see are inappropriate. Water.
So shrimp can really eat just about anything. As long as there isn't copper in it and they eat all of the food within 2 hours, then you're not going to be overfeeding and the shrimp are going to be all right. We feed every other day, and we make sure that we have the amount of food down. We use a lot of the commercial foods, and we can trade if you want. All right. I know pretty much exactly, based off of like weight, based off the size of pellets and stuff like that, how much food to feed each one of the tanks, so that way it's all eaten within 2 hours. Now we have 500 tanks. Yeah, we have 500 tanks. We have 500 tanks. So going through the house, sometimes I slip up and I'm like, oh, that was the orange-eyed royal blue tiger tank that only has 5 shrimp in it that I'm growing out for competition. I should probably she's so comfortable there most of the time. Yeah, I act like she was uncomfortable. She moves out. She's coughing now. And I'll put 3 pieces of food in that tank, thinking it's my orange-eyed yellow King Kong tank or something like that. And I've got to go back into that tank 2 hours later and pull out all the food. Most of the time, I don't wait that long. I'll go back in there. I'll pull 2 pieces out of there, and then I'll throw the food in my pleco tank or something like that. The longer you wait, the more in pieces and shredded up it gets, and the harder it is to remove it out of the tank. So I strongly recommend, getting that dialed in. One of the videos that we just posted not that long ago, it was a short. We used some leftover turkey from Thanksgiving, and I fed one of the shrimp tanks with it. I fed shrimp with it, and then showed the shrimp eating it. And I just let you know, hey, after 2 hours, go in, take any of the turkey out that didn't get eaten. It is a little bit hard because it kind of got shredded up a little bit, and there's a lot of babies and smaller shrimp on the thing, but I was able to get just about all of the larger pieces of the turkey out. I'm not worried about the little tiny bits and pieces. Days later, the tank is just fine, but they can eat just about anything. And then I'm going to wait for this for Shelby. But we feed a lot of Shrimp Envy foods, a lot of the Glass Garden foods. We've been alternating a couple of the Plamsky foods into our foods too. If it's on the website, it's something we use, or like for the holiday season, we've got some pumpkin and carrot food mixed with some snowflake. We've got, and I can't use snowflake foods anymore. I'm allergic to soy. So I had to stop using like the Food Fight I had to stop using, which is a Shrimp Envy brand. I had to stop using our own soy ahoy. Doesn't mean it's not great for the shrimp. It's just after feeding 500 tanks of it, I'm sneezing constantly for like 30 minutes, and then I've got a headache for the rest of the day. So I've kind of cut soy out of all the shrimp diet for myself. It is go time for the giveaway. Hashtag 25. We're giving a $25 gift card. So Shelby should be back here soon. But I don't need her to do the giveaway. So, oh, no, she's not coming. So hashtag 25. Go ahead and refresh. We have 42 entries. Hashtag 25. Last chance. All right. Everything looks good. All right. And 46 entries now. Oh, all right. Give it a second. We got Shelby coming back. Oh, I tried to blow my nose. You good now? Looks like you blew your nose. I did. All right, now we're up to 48. So Shelby got.
Tristan.
So congratulations. You got a comment. Make sure that you're still here. And then we'll be doing another giveaway here in a second. Let me just blow my nose real quick. And then my tissue fell apart on me, so I'm struggling.
Congratulations. Make sure to email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com as well. Hopefully you're still here.
Were we giving away a Sam scale print?
That's from last week.
I just saw him pulled out, so I didn't know if you were giving away another one or not.
If you want, we can. It's no problem. Did you answer this question?
No.
Brian said, would it be dumb to start with Caridina instead of Neos? If you started all over, would you use all 20 gallons instead of 10 gallons?
So the reason why I use 10 gallons is I can do more shrimp in one space. So if you're not trying to do a lot of shrimp variety, then yes, I would do 20 gallons. If I had an infinite amount of space, then yes, I would do 20 gallons over 10 gallons. The Caridina thing is they're both exactly, to me, easy as one another. The Neo Caridina might be easier for most people because they don't have to use the RO water. But for me, the RO water is just, I turn a nozzle now. It's done. It's already set up. I mix my salts. It's on a routine. But after I mix my water, it's the same care. They get the water. They get the food. Everything's the same. And we do benefit and make a lot more money off of an individual Caridina tank rather than a Neo Caridina tank. But we sell a lot more Neos still than Caridina, if that makes sense. So they're more bread and butter, but we do usually sell out of all of our Caridina shrimp throughout the year. Like we do have a $1.50 tank tie. Our Black Friday sales are still going on right now. Everything's buy 5, get 2 free, so they're really cheaper than $1.50. So if you want to get into Caridina, that's the starter shrimp, right? But if you don't want to do the RO system, then do the Neo Caridina, and it doesn't really. It's just do whatever kind of shrimp you want to take care of and see the most, because not all shrimp sell, and sometimes you want to just enjoy some of the shrimp and see them for yourself too. But the shrimp usually go in waves, so if hollow eye red ghosts aren't selling right now, I guarantee you next year they're going to be selling like hotcakes. Like I'm going to do a bunch of cross genetic breeding videos and live streams and talking about them, and like that's my favorite cross to work with in the house right now. So just because they haven't sold for squat the last 2 months doesn't mean next year they're not going to be selling like crazy, and I'm only going to go from 1 tank to 2 tanks, maybe 3 tanks before the word gets out, and then they start selling again. So, up to you.
Mike says, can you cut TDS in half by adding equal parts of tap water and distilled water for water changes?
You can, but that's a lot of work, and like, why would you want to do it? You can't do that for Caridina shrimp because you can't cut 4 kH down to 2 kH. That's just not going to work. But I wouldn't do that. Let's do hashtag scales, and we'll give away a Sam Scales print.
Bugsy said, is there anything different from a grow out tank from a regular breeding tank?
So there shouldn't be. I don't personally use grow out tanks. I think it's a great way to stunt your shrimp from them actually growing up to their full potential. I prefer my shrimp being born in the tank and then growing up to full size, and then just keeping an eye on the tank when the tank starts swimming and there's a bunch of males. Like, that's one swimming male shrimp, or maybe it's just a few. Oh, you can't even see it. It's on frame. Sorry. But like that, there's just one shrimp swimming around. Ain't nothing to like really worry about. But if the whole tank is swimming around and they're all like 1 centimeter, chances are you got a bunch of males, and I'd probably just cull them off into a different tank and then just be really strict, like keep the best of the best. And then, if you get some nice ones or some females in the cull tank, let them breed in the cull tank and do their thing. But yeah, broccoli is okay. But yeah, grow out tanks and breeding tanks should be the same setup. You want them to be the same so they have the best chance of growing up and not having any stress, right?
So the person who won the $25 gift card did not answer in chat. Just so you know. Tank Girl said, is broccoli okay?
Yeah, I said broccoli's okay. Both forms.
Probably go back. I don't know.
Cooked and raw.
That one again.
All right, we can do the hashtag scales and then also the $25 gift card along with it. How about that? Since it wasn't called. So we'll still have the 4 giveaways for tonight. All right. Before we pick up another one, let's do this unboxing. And I really enjoyed, this is our second box now that we've gotten from them, and the artwork on their boxes, the squids and the shrimp and stuff like that, the actual product that goes into their product is pretty cool. And we've already tried their food. They kind of reached out to us, which is what I kind of liked. They had given me a phone call, and I'd almost not picked up the call, but we were trying to get to the show, and I knew the guy had a California number, and I thought it was that guy. And I picked it up, and then I immediately heard the accent, and I knew exactly who it was. They're Australian, so I only know like 4 Australian people, and it was not Nick or Harlan. So,
or Sadie.
Yeah. Clearly, it wasn't Sadie. I'm sorry. Like, that one was a no-brainer. I didn't think I needed to say that. Yeah. So they sent us some Shrimp Pro food after we met them at the Vegas show, Super Zoo. Tried it for all the tanks. It is a little bit smaller, but it's a good variety. The shrimp all ate it. It's got a good smell. The dude ate it in front of me, which totally, like, when people do that at shows, it's like you almost have to buy it if the person's eating it, right? Like, you have to, like, or else they just ate it for nothing, and I feel horrible because they're eating. It probably doesn't taste good. Like, there's not a super chat option at all that would get me to try one of these in chat.
Right.
Like, you'd have to pay for the computer because it's coming up. Like, as soon as I smell my breath on the exhale, I'm done. All right.
And this computer's a nice one. If you had to replace the other one, it wouldn't be a problem.
But then the other thing is we also have our turtles, and we don't have baby turtles right now. I have some not newts. Maybe the newts will eat this, but I have some. Oh my God, musk turtles, and the musk turtles are still growing up. So this is still going to be great food for the musk turtles. They ended up sending me, yeah, the bigger pellets, but in a bunch of like little tiny sampler packs. And the sampler packs were great because I was just using those for our 5 Diamondback terrapins in the 500-gallon tub, and it's perfect size for them. And 2 of the sample packs fed them, and we feed the turtles every other day as well. So they sent us more of this food, which is great because we probably go through more turtle food because of the koi fish than anything. But they sent us a lot of the shrimp food. So this is definitely going to be into our rotation for a while. We only had one of these containers before, but the shrimp really liked it. I like the variety. I like having more than one type of food. I don't want to eat just chicken nuggets and steak every single. That was horrible. Nobody eats chicken nuggets and steak, but I don't want to just eat steak and lobster every single day. Like, oh, you opened the other box? All right,
Okay.
it's okay. There was another box, people. I know. There's nothing else in this box. It's all shrimp food and these 2 containers of turtle food. But I was talking to the guy, and the guy was like, "Hey, man, you didn't get back to us." And I kind of already told the guy, like, "Hey, I got the baby on the way. I'm not trying to do anything," because they wanted to do a bunch of social media. If you can see, they've got the Diamondback terrapins on their logo, and I also mix it up with the Missouri foods. I told them, like, hey, I'm not one for all one food. Like we're a variety, and that's how we do things. And
Variety
I
is
might
key.
promote the Aquamax fish pellets for the food, and the Missouri.
Variety is key. Variety food, variety shrimp, variety shrimp.
It's
fish.
probably already copyrighted from somewhere, but if not now, it is. Sell it to us. Give you a shrimp only deal. But it's one of those things where they're like, yeah, no problem. I told them how much we're going to still support the other foods that we use, and we have to use the variety, whatever. And they want to work with us. They want to make T-shirts and stuff like that too. I don't know if any of these foods were for me to give away also on the channel. I'm sure they wouldn't mind as long as I'm promoting their food. If so, that'll be in the giveaways coming up. But I was talking to him, told him about the baby, also told him about the hurricanes, and he's like, "Oh, I totally forgot that you guys are in Florida." But then he brought up Seagrass Farms and how their power was out, and a lot of their filtration and stuff like that kind of went down. We never lost power, but I told him I was having an issue trying to catch up on our water changes. So I was like super busy and I couldn't commit to anything. So I was like trying to get ahead on that. Now I'm caught up on that. So it is, not an issue or whatever. We can do some content here in the future. But he was talking about how Seagrass Farms was using this Bio XD, but it's like a sludge remover. And I do have a couple of the old not tiger tanks, turtle tanks, and newt tanks that are just a little bit sludgy. So this should take it all out, and we're going to give this a try as well. Not really needing it for any of our shrimp tanks because we keep a clean tank. But what else did they send?
I just have to pause to say, Stephen P. coming in. Only aquarium people would get this, and a hello, because like it took me a second to get it, and hands are dry. Hello, like could you imagine how weird that would be? Just walking to someone and just be like, hands are dry. Hey.
Yeah,
love it though.
If I'm in like somebody else's chat and I'm just like, hey, I try to say hi real quick, and then I'm like, I won't be able to talk and say hello to every single person because my hands will be wet for the next 3 hours probably.
Because you're putting it on and just kind of listening to it in the background because you want to be supportive, but you got work to do. But yeah, they sent 2 gigantic ones of these bags.
which is awesome. I saw this and I was like, oh, because this isn't a lot of turtle food. Like this is gonna last
Nothing.
us. I mean, the baby turtle food will feed the musk turtles for a while. Our bigger musk turtles, though, the loggerhead, and then we just got another female musk, common 3-stripe, and she'll also eat these. But the little guys, Elon is not. I mean, maybe he can eat 1 or 2 of these to try and develop some jaw strength. But yeah,
You don't like
we're
the
excited.
baby ones.
We're excited to use these big bags, mix it in, and feed it outside. So.
Johnny Best, thank you for becoming a member again.
And that was it.
Appreciate it. Yes.
Can you get it off the edge there?
Yeah.
Thank you. Now I see what you mean by inappropriate things. I was like, what are you talking about inappropriate things? You made it sound so bad.
It's not. Like he says, please do not pick up root tabs with wet hands. Not good. Steve, I think we should always announce our hand moisture status in every social interaction.
I don't know.
I'm clammy. Hello.
I don't know if this bothers anybody else, but one of the things that really gets me is when somebody has like a huge container of food and then they use wet hands to grab food, and then at each tank, I mean, cross-contamination, hello, but like on the other thing is like that food, the moisture, it's got to be moldy. Like by the end of that container, something's got to be funky in there. Like I don't know if it's just me, but my hands got to be dry. And if I get a wet hand, I usually have a really dirty, or not dirty.
No,
but
it's usually nice, clean T-shirts, and he goes.
No, by the end
6
of
them a day.
me feeding, like yeah, I don't know. I have to have dry hands.
That's so funny.
Back to me.
Yeah.
All right. So, male-female ratio is something that I know we talk about, but I don't really see it mentioned too much. It's not as important as it is guppies, but if you have more males than you have females, and there's only a couple of females that are ready to go, and one of them releases pheromones into the water, then I might have that backwards. I'm not a scientist. Is it hormones or pheromones for females? Or is it both? I don't know these things. Anyways, endorphins into the water. And the males are going crazy. But they can't find the other females. They'll all just antagonize one female, and she can stress out and die. And then there's one less female. So then the males are going to find another female, stress her out, and you can very easily lose your females that way. So call your males down, keep a relatively low male population in your breeding colonies, and you won't have that issue.
If you use a mini spoon, yeah, that's the way to go. I was using this spoon for a little bit, then I'm very bad at feeding fish. That's probably the worst thing I'm at is feeding fish, which is hilarious. But sometimes I'll take a spoonful and then I'll put way too much in the tank, and then I'm like, all right, I can't do a spoon, all right? So I go, then I'll try to put it all on the lid and then sprinkle it in, and then I'll get lazy and I don't want to touch it because you get those nasty, that's the fish version of Cheeto fingers. That's so gross. But oh man, someone should do a shirt of fish food on the fingers, be like the forbidden finger. But I'll try to sprinkle it and then I get impatient and use the lid and then pour all of it in the tank or dump it all over the floor. That's happened probably way too many times that I'd like to admit. Shrimp helps me out and cleans it up. He's a little vacuum behind me with shrimp food. But then it's gross, and then I have to now clean the floor after he has licked up the fish food because now it smells like
the dogs do not
and
eat the shrimp food for me. I've never had an issue. I always drop it, and I gotta find it.
Oh man! Well, if it goes under the sink, they don't eat it. But
no, even if it goes behind me, I gotta find it.
Thea follows me because she'll eat it. It's hilarious.
You drop more food than me then.
Salt Bay every day.
Yeah, no, I do not want ants in Florida in my house. We had ghost ants one time, and I thought
That
we
was
had termites
freaky.
because they were on Shelby's piece of wood, and I was like, what are these? I didn't know about them. They weren't sugar ants. I really panicked for a second, but
Continue.
all right. So culls. We talked about too many males, getting rid of them. That's one way to cull. What is a cull? It is an unwanted shrimp. It could be undesirable for color, lack of color, the wrong pattern. You can also cull for deformities and illnesses and stuff like that. So for us, culling is taking advantage of feeding times and going around and removing the ugly shrimp that come to the food pile. The best way to do that is, if you're really trying to work on a tank, skip a day or skip a couple days on feeding, and then feed your shrimp, and then it really brings everybody out of the tank, and I'm able to do my culling more efficiently that way. And that's pretty much it. That was the end of my notes. We're already over the hour, so I made great time on tonight's live stream, considering we did an unboxing too.
Yeah.
So if anybody has any questions, needs any help, or anything like that, but I do got some updates for the week as well.
How often do you feed your shrimp?
We feed them every other day, but sometimes we're really busy and they get fed every 3 days, and it's not really an issue. The thing is if you skip 2 or 3 days, don't feed them more food to make up for it. So however much food you feed is how much food you should feed them every single time.
They're only going to eat a certain amount.
So, but updates for this week. We put our plant order in. We're getting everything ready for the. I need to message Mishka because we're not going to be at the meeting this weekend. But we are.
It's next weekend.
It's next weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So this weekend though is the show,
Mm-hmm.
and then next weekend is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the following weekend is
Mhm.
T-Bass.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We got an extra weekend this month than I thought. All right, never mind. Mishka's still coming over. So we've got Repticon this week. It's our first Repticon, and so we got our plants ordered. It got more terrarium plants than we usually deal with, and then all our normal mosses, and then we're going to bring a bunch of neos and stuff like that. So we're getting into gear to get ready for that. And then we got the 2 more CJ pumps. So hopefully I'll be able to get more water changes done. We also got another laptop on Black Friday. Best Buy had a really good deal. It's one that we can still use to update, not update, but upload photos onto YouTube and edit and stuff like that, because Shelby's new job, it's been taking up the laptop for some of the time. So it's going to help us out and get more videos hopefully done in the future. It's also not as expensive as a laptop, so we'll probably travel with it more to get more stuff done when we are on the road, because most of those days we got like 16 hours on the road, and if you're already on the road and you got nowhere else to be, you might as well get some work done too. So really looking forward to just getting more things done, and Shelby's actually been doing a lot of the scapes for Pisces, getting them knocked out, and they look really, really great, and some of them are already on Amazon. So
Rocky and Miles said, do you have dwarf Mexican crayfish? Do you treat them same as shrimp?
So I've tried them a few times, and they did not do as well as our Neocaridina. I just kept them in normal Neocaridina tanks, just like we used to keep our alien eye and Clark eye crawfish. Even with more minerals in the water, up to 220 dissolved solids, total dissolved solids. Sorry, they didn't do that well. And then when I saw all the farms and breeders that were keeping them, a lot of them had hornwort in their tanks. So the females feel more comfortable up in the plants, and then when they release the babies hide up in the plants and they eat the little tiny microorganisms. So if I were to do it all again, I might do the 55-gallon tanks with those because I don't think the newts are going to do good in the 55s. And I'm moving them in the hallway, I think. I've been talking to the axolotl lady. I think that might be the move. So I'll have something nice in those 55 tanks. But
Bits of Serendip said hi. Is 68 too cold for Neos?
nope, that's not cold at all.
So they do slow down breeding, but 68 actually they'd probably still be breeding pretty well. It's when our tubs get down into like, I would say the 40s, 50s, they start breeding slower.
What was the last comment? You pulled it down before I could finish what I was talking about. It's driving me nuts now.
You were talking about the Mexican crayfish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I want to get some Mexican crawfish or the blue crawfish, the dwarf ones for the 55s. That's the move.
That
Sorry.
sounded like you were done talking.
I guess I
You're a
was done
strange
talking. I'm
person.
sorry. I spaced out, forgot what I was excited about. I don't know. 4 more minutes until the giveaway. Since the person was not here to claim their award, the $25 gift card and a Sam Scales print is on the line. Hashtag Scales.
Yeah, Jason said, I know using a ton of PVC pipes helps with the dwarf crayfish.
So I was using a ton of PVC just like we did with the aliens and the alien eye and the Clark eye, and it wasn't enough. They didn't even use the PVC hides. So I would recommend using floaters instead. Justin's got a comment.
Justin saying, hey guys, how's it going? Got my shipment of about 100 shrimp a couple days ago from you guys, and they're all doing really good. I think 4 of the Yellow King Kongs were DOA. The rest are all doing great. Glad to hear.
And then on that shipment, though, they were really delivered on Thursday, and then or there was an issue with delivery, and the mailman didn't drop them off on Thursday, held them at the post office, and you weren't able to pick them up until Monday. So
I also wonder if they don't deliver, if it just sits in their truck the whole time. That kind of makes me worried because they kind of sit out.
no,
Hopefully not.
they put a thing in his mailbox for him to go pick them up from the post office.
It's
And he was
hashtag
looking for a box and didn't see that in his mailbox, so he ended up spending a little extra few days, but it was in the post office at least, not
you
in the
never
truck.
know though.
No, well, they can't be in the truck if they're
hashtag-
going to go pick them up.
Oh.
They have to be left at the post office.
Make sure you spell it right. It's hashtag SCALZ.
Yeah, that's how Sam Scales has his business name.
Justin said, I think my favorites are the red calcio and the raccoons. Yeah, raccoons. The orange eye, blue tiger shrimp are nice, but only a couple of them have the orange eyes. The rest have normal eyes. Is that regular?
No, they should all have orange eyes.
That's
So
strange.
yeah, and they don't lose the orange eyes either.
No. Purple the Turtle Aquatic said, so I bought 2 females and 1 juvenile blue velvet shrimp from a local fish store. 1 month later, the original 3 lost color and the 3 just bought are vibrant. Is that due to diet?
No. The substrate color is probably more to deal with it. What color is your substrate is what I would say. Is they're probably trying to match into the environment, and the pet store might have had a darker color. It could also be stress, but it's not diet. Their main diet should be biofilm. And even if you're feeding them fish food, it's not going to be an issue.
Keith, your package should go out today after this live streams when I'm sending all the tracking numbers. Thanks for reminding me.
I'm sorry. It's been a very, very, very long day. If you can imagine, this was like the busiest day of the year. There was people at the post office that I've never seen before. So I don't know if they had like people from the warehouse there or they had new hires to try and make up for the holiday season or something like that. But I've kind of mastered to put 2 boxes together and then 6 tall. So I had 12 boxes and all the bubble mailers on top and the 2 small ones. So I had 18 to 20 packages that I put on the desk all at one time and then just kind of slid it their way. And they're like, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, no, they're good. Like, you're fine. They were freaking out. And then Jaden's walking behind me and he's got 5 packages and he's limping. Poor kid. We're playing tag at the park yesterday and tried to run away from his sister tagged me. I can't remember what happened, but he tried to jump through part of the playground and his leg got caught and he thought he broke it, but I could tell by the way he was able to move it that it wasn't broken and he's been limping a little bit, but poor kid.
Mike said, what shrimps have the longest average lifespan?
The Opaule. They can live for like 12 to 20 years. I can't remember what exactly the number is. I'm not sure. I haven't like named one of the Opaule and like tattooed them to figure out how long they're gonna live for. So I do know they lived in bags for a very long time in between shows, and the water quality is still great.
Johnny said, is it okay to set up shrimp tank a couple days before getting them?
It's not recommended. If you're already having issues and you're not an experienced shrimp keeper and you don't know how to quickly season a tank with a little bit of Bacter AE and the proper water and everything like that, it's not something I would do. I would wait to make sure the tank is nice and stable before I threw the shrimp in.
Purple Turtle Aquatics said, my substrate is 85% black and 15% brown, aqua soil, basically the same as the fish store. Maybe not enough minerals.
Yeah, so that's if you're using Neocaridina and the pH is lowered and the minerals are stripped out, but
aqua soil.
Yeah.
And
but the brown aqua soil is.
You said Neocaridina.
Yeah, because they said Neos.
I know, but it's just the way you said it.
All right. Well, I would say the KH and the pH are lower than what the pet store has it.
Yeah, that could be stressing them out, which could cause a lack of color in the shrimp.
The pet store might have really old substrate where it's no longer absorbing all of the pH and KH. And then also, dang it, I had something else to say to Johnny and I forgot. Oh, I was going to say this. Johnny, even as experienced as I am myself, if I'm ever getting shrimp, I still want to season the tank for 30 days before I add them in. I would never risk any of my money going to buy any strain that I don't have where I just threw the shrimp into the tank 3 days later. Like, it would have to be an incredible deal on something, but even then, I'm more likely to go home and yank some yellow King Kongs out of a seasoned tank and throw them in that tank and then toss the yellow King Kongs in with another group of yellow King Kongs or something, right? So.
And Justin, I would just say that it's best to, if you do order packages like this and get it regularly, I would say to the people shipping to write, please hold at post office, so then you can skip this whole thing and then just look at your tracking and know when it's going to be at the post office. So you could just go pick it up and skip having to worry about them, leaving it out by the road or, anywhere inconvenient. Luckily, they did bring it back to the post office, which was good. But just keep an eye on the tracking number. That's what a lot of people do. They actually don't want their mail delivered because they don't want to risk it sitting on their porch and, pirates taking it. That sounds so porch pirates. But tis the season of people stealing, so I would never do that, especially if you live in a high crime area or just lazy USPS drivers.
But
they just don't take the risk.
The other thing is, though, that the mailmen that we've had on our route, like I know there's people that had the same mailman for 20, 30 years, but I know that our route changes our mailmen every 3 to 5 years, if that. Like sometimes it's every year we get a new mail, or sometimes they only last a year, right? So I would say if you get a new mailman or anybody that's buying shrimp and you haven't introduced yourself to the mailman, this is the time of the year to do it. Take a $20 bill, $40 bill. I don't know how much you're buying, how much you're spending on shrimp, but for me, I was buying Pintos back when I was trying to build up these relationships with the mailman, and I'm spending $40 a shrimp. And if I can convince the mailman that my package is important and just give them a $40 bill, $40 or a $20 bill and say, hey, listen, I get these packages every now and then. If it's labeled Grant Eater and you see it's for me and you can shake it and you can kind of feel there's water in it, would you mind, like, hey, just sending me a text message? Here's my phone number. And just saying, hey, I have your package. Come pick it up at the post office or come meet me on my route. But most of the time, my mailmen are like, oh, I'll just drop it off at your house before I start my route. A lot of them, when they find out that they're delivering rare shrimp and something like as cool as that, you can even lie to them, say there's like a baby platypus or something in it, right? They're not going to open it up and check. Like, they're just shaking the bags.
I don't know. If someone said a baby platypus.
You can also tell them there's a rare endangered species or something like that. Get their attention, whatever you got to do, right? But I've had like 5 out of 7 of our mailmen had no issue bringing the package to us early. The other 2 of them were just really lazy and didn't want to do their job, and they didn't last very long at all. One of the ladies, she was real tiny, and every time we had ordered multiple boxes or salts or anything like that, she would legit leave them at the post office, and I would see them sitting at our post office until our substitute came and delivered. So she did not last long.
Everyone's ragging on you on your $40 bill.
Listen,
said I want
that
one.
funny money works.
Someone else says a $40 bill will get you arrested. Skinny Bone said, hey, so I live in a garage with my room fluctuates between 62 to 68 throughout the day. I do have a heater for the tank, but the water stays in the 80 to 82 degree range. What is better for cherry shrimp?
I would just take the heater and I would lower it to 68. And that would just maintain and stabilize your tanks out a lot better. 62 is a little bit low. But I would honestly try it without a heater. And if you have good breeding, then don't worry about a heater. If you don't get good breeding, put the heater in and go to 68 or 70. But what you don't want to do is just take the heater out of the tank. Now you're going to have to dial that heater down gradually, like every couple of days, turn it down a degree or 2. Don't just take it from 80 to 68 or 62.
But usually the warmer the water, the quicker they breed, but the faster that they die. So you have
shorter
like a
lifespan.
turnover rate.
It's a nicer way of putting it.
Shorter
We don't like to
lifespan.
talk about dying on this channel, okay?
Mike said, would you water change daily on a new setup if that was the only tank option?
I would not do water changes every single day unless it was one of my aquascape tanks. If it was a breeding tank for shrimp.
He means if that's the only option, it's a tank that's not cycled for 30 days. Would you water change it every day if you happen to get shrimp?
I would do it still every 7 days. I just would not overfeed. You want to make sure you don't overfeed. Shrimp are not that much bio load that you need to change the water out like that. You're going to stress them out more.
It's more about the ammonia and the cycle.
Yeah,
setup.
they're not that much of a bio load though. So as your colony of bacteria is growing in the tank, it should work with whatever bio loads in your shrimp that's just coming out of them. The trick is, getting biofilm for them to eat rather than feeding them too much food. And then if you feed them too much food, then you're having to take it out within 2 hours. So it's a lot more work. As long as you're removing the food, you don't have to do the water changes, though.
The problem was with that 30-day cycle, you can have an ammonia spike regardless of doing a water change. So that could come from the substrate itself. So that's the only reason that.
But if shrimp are in the tank and you're doing it and you're not using ADA, you shouldn't have that much ammonia if you're doing the water changes every week. Back to the notes.
Yeah. You don't have any notes.
What do you mean I don't have any notes?
You said you were done.
I am done. I don't have any more updates either. That's pretty much all I've gotten done is just water changes, taking care of Black Friday sales. A lot of stuff is missing on the website because we are sold out. We do have a lot of ocean blues, a lot of yellows, a lot of black rose, a lot of coals, a lot of caridina left.
Like he said, if you were setting up a shrimp-only show tank and are allowed to pick whatever substrate you want, do you have a favorite, or does it depend on the shrimp color being utilized?
So it depends on the type of shrimp. If it's caridina, I'm 100% going with Brightwell. Like, there's a reason why we're being patient right now and setting Shelby's room up with Brightwell substrate and not just using one of the 30 bags of Fluval that we already have in the garage from Aquascaping. I love Fluval. The substrate that we set up the 2 racks with, there's some Fluval substrate behind me. The shrimp are doing great in those tanks.
Those plants are doing wonderful in there.
I got no real complaint other than I haven't tested it for over a year and a half. It's still within that time period, and there's so many people when talking with them and dealing with shrimp issues that they have pH issues, and 9 out of 10 times it's Fluval or it's the Aqua Vitro. And I'm not saying that it's Aqua Vitro or Fluval Stratum's fault. I'm saying there's a lot of user error when you're first setting up a caridina tank. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There was a time where I used to set up my caridina tanks and I would put baking soda into the tank because one of the suppliers of the bacteria that we were using was like, oh, it's not going to grow unless you put the baking soda. It has to have some type of carbonate hardness in the water. And all that was doing was shortening the life of my substrate. There's people that it's like, don't worry about the first 30 days. Just use tap water because there's not going to be any shrimp in it. Then do a 90% water change or 100% water change and fill it up. Well, guess what? For 30 days, you depleted the lifespan of your soil. How much? It really depends on the type of soil and how fresh it was, etc. But you want to avoid using KH in the water at all. And I do believe that the Stratum, I'll get over 2, maybe even 3 years out of it, no problem. But the Brightwell, I'm getting 5-6 years. So right now, I'm spending my money on the Brightwell. For Neocaridina, though, color definitely depends. Like if you're trying to escape a really beautiful show tank, chances are I'm using Brightwell in the back, and I'm still capping it with something pretty. Brightwell is great for the root growth and stuff like that, but it doesn't really look good in scapes, right? So we probably use a mixture of different gravels and stuff depending on the actual hardscape that we're using. That'd be ideal. Is there another question?
That was just a lot.
I didn't say that much. We got 1 minute and 20 seconds until the next giveaway if you want to get that ready. Hashtag scales. Huh?
It's already ready.
Okay.
Purple said, what would you recommend to boost the KH/pH? Frequent water changes, crushed coral. My other tanks are 7.5, but that tank is 6 pH. Thanks for the help. This is back to the aqua soil in with the Neos.
Doing another water change with KH in the water is definitely going to be our best bet. Like a 50% water change to fill it up slow. A little bit of crushed coral is going to help. It's definitely not going to hurt with shrimp. Neocaridina shrimp, it's definitely going to be good. The problem with crushed coral, though, is it's white. So you don't want it to cover up too much of the substrate because then it's going to kind of stress out the shrimp. So I would just continue to do your water changes with the KH in the water, and that will eventually exhaust your substrate. But you could also get some black diamond blasting sand or black gravel, Eco Complete or something like that, and actually cover some of the aqua soil, and it'll stop it from being a buffer and lowering your pH.
It will stop it, but it'll slow it down.
I mean, yeah, reduce the amount that it's able to buffer it.
What's up, Harley?
How you doing, man?
That was the quietest hello.
And that's your tone. You said it. You started it. That's all on you.
I have such a low tone.
We didn't get enough ice cream today, Harley. I'm sorry.
No, I am starving. Oh. She's like, speaking about starving. I'm sorry, that was so sad. Mike said, I see Corey from Aquarium Co-op has taken quite an interest in you. What does that mean to you?
So Corey is a great figure in the hobby. He spreads out a lot of information, and then he supports the little guys. I still consider us quite small in the hobby. We reached out to him about the filters. I asked for a deal, and he gave me a better deal than what I thought I'd get. And he helped us accomplish our dreams. He dropped, not dreams, but our goals. I'm sorry. We wanted to get it done by the end of the year. We wanted to give Shelby the best shrimp breeding rack that we possibly could with the most filtration, and give her her best shot at winning more awards in the shrimp contest to come, and breed her own lines and create something on her own, right? Because what's in her room will be in her room. And I won't be able to steal shrimp from her unless she's like at the doctor's office or doing something with Pisces, right? So it'll be a lot harder to steal shrimp in the future. Right now, I can just take Galaxy Pintos and Snow Whites and throw them around the house willy nilly. So I'm trying to get my shrimp.
He actually does that.
Trying to get them genetics while I
can.
can.
Go into my tank and take one or two, and then he'd be like, "No, I didn't do anything."
But having the support from someone like Corey, it definitely helps out. He's got a lot of connections. He knows a lot of people. And not only that, but I think one of the biggest things is Dean. Dean came and spoke for our club. I think it was on your birthday, right? And just getting to hang out with him and having him tour our house and seeing this. And every now and then I'll get a message from Dean, and it'll be a great pick-me-up, right? So having somebody on the other coast, Harley was just there, but having like the community there is what it's all about. And I don't think anybody does community better than Corey. I wish I had the time. I wish I had the employees, like the good employees that Corey has. He really does have like a workforce behind him. Like
some really cool ones.
Like if I could afford Jenna P and then like Crypt Keeper full time, like the so community would be incredible for us, right? But I can't afford those
Not only
people.
Can cook for us, but he could also help us with the shrimp. And then Jenna's just like our organizer because we are so disorganized. Like, I am an organized person. I really like organization, but when you live with a person who does not care, drives you crazy. It's too much.
But what Corey does, I don't think is matched in the hobby. He's also bringing in products and he's making a living off of it, and I don't knock him for it. So
sorry, the one thing that I appreciate is the clubs, because like where we started was our fish clubs, like where we found most of our supporters, the people who encouraged us to do better. Like, of course, we already had a bunch of tanks and things like that, but like, you know, there's always people pushing us on YouTube and stuff like that. Those fish clubs have been some of the best people in our lives, like who generally always make us feel better when we necessarily don't even have family that support us, you know, that kind of just look at us like we're crazy. When these people at these fish clubs are just sitting there and praising us, like, I can't believe the incredible work you do and things like that just make you feel so great. So for Corey to have like that map of all the fish clubs, it brings it together for us that it's just, you want that part of that hobby, that caring and understanding that we are nothing as a fish community without some of our clubs.
But on top of that, I've given praise to ZoomEd before in the past because I haven't been to it's not poison, Shelby. You're good. Just drink the
There's
water.
bubbles.
Stay hydrated. I think the coloration is actually from your lipstick. Like your lipstick is probably stained the glass a little bit. It's probably stained.
No.
These are your 2 glasses, I swear. They're lipstick glazed
No.
at this point. But ZoomEd, I swear, has given something to every single event that we've gone to. Reptile, aquarium related, whatever have it. I think Corey has given something to every single aquarium event that we probably went to this year. I don't know what were in the bags at Aquashella, but I can't imagine there wasn't something from Corey in those bags or something with Corey or you know what I mean? I think every one of our club members has a little tiny aquarium co-op sponge filter because he donated them to our annual auction or something like that.
Oh
right?
my gosh. I hope you could make a keychain. That would be a tiny little sponge
That'd be
filter.
cool.
Oh my goodness.
I hate things on my keychains,
Oh.
but I put
Even
that
if
on.
I would just want like the world's smallest sponge filter for a shrimp tank, like a little mini tank with a little sponge filter. Oh, it'd kill me. Sorry, now we have
If
good
somebody can
ideas. We're never
3D
going to do
print
that.
us the smallest sponge filter, I'll cut the foam for it.
Oh
I just
my
need
God.
the sponge design.
That's so funny.
Next question.
Skinny Bone says, how do you guys feel about keeping shrimp in a 1-gallon jar with dirt and sand cap with a lot of Java moss?
I don't feel great about it, but like I say this in my shrimp talks, right? If you want something small and you have the desire and the space and that's all you can keep, what else are you going to keep in that 1-gallon jar besides maybe a single least Achilles fish or sadly a betta? Like there's nothing really that's going to go in there better than a shrimp. So I would put maybe a couple of shrimp, like get a good trio in there or something like that and see how they do. I like the little tiny ecosystem, little closed off containers, spheres or whatever, as long as they're not super overpopulated. Now, if you get a population boom of shrimp, you're going to need to remove them out of that little jar, maybe start another jar and you get an addiction of jars. And that's how it all starts. But now I'm thinking about RuneScape. My kids started playing RuneScape, and I have no interest in playing RuneScape 3 because it's all changed and it's nothing like how I used to play. And I realized all my accounts are on RuneScape 3, so I have to play old school and start all over. So I've got no money. So if you guys got RuneScape old school gold or party hats or Santas or anything like that, I'll give you shrimp for it.
Enough is enough, honestly.
So my kids want a quest. It's on.
All right, we're going to draw this. Night Owl Aquatics.
All right, congratulations. You have won the Sam Scales print and a $25 gift card.
Can you write that down on that paper for me?
What, Night Owl?
So Jason said, my issue with Fluval is that it can turn powder pretty fast compared to the other brands.
If it's turned into powder, though, then you probably have KH in your water because
breaks down
none of the Fluval that we've used in any of our tanks is broken down at all.
Not yet.
I mean,
we've heard about this, and that has been the number one problem. Is a lot of people don't realize that the KH is breaking down their substrate extremely fast.
Also,
like all of these tanks have been set up for quite some time, and none of them are. They still have really good form. They're not mucky. They're not gross.
So hydrogen peroxide, if you're constantly dosing hydrogen peroxide to get rid of algae, that's going to break down your substrate faster also. So I would say we've got 30 Fluval tanks, and none of them have turned to mud.
Bits of Serendip said, I lost my first go of...
Hold on, before you start, I'll forget. The other thing, though, is where you source your substrate is everything, because if you've got a bag of fluval stratum that's been sitting at Petco or PetSmart or somewhere like that, and it's been there forever, or you go to a local pet store that carries it and just nobody even knows it's on the back shelf or what it is, you might just have a bag that has a real tiny micro puncture or something like that, and it dried out. So really make sure when you open up your bags that when you squeeze it, kind of feels like fresh poop. Like you don't want it to be like super squishy, not runny, like diarrhea, like real fresh, good
diet
dog food. Yeah, not diet. Yeah. So sorry. Dog food. Good diet dog food. Like the consistency. Like, you know, when you're walking through it and you like step on something, you're like, I know it's on my shoe. Like that kind of consistency, right? Sometimes it's hard and you just walk away and you're like, that didn't mess up my day.
I lost my first go of shrimp keeping. This round has been much better. Should be culling for the first time, but can't decide how to choose which to breed on. The reds, the blues, or jellies. Mixed tanks right now.
Sounds like you need to head to Petco and get yourself another tank and do one of each. That's how it started for me. I had a tank of reds, got another tank of reds, got another tank of reds, got some blues. The blues didn't work out. I mixed the blues with the reds. And then I had a tank of blues, a tank of reds, and a tank of red Ridleys.
Yeah, we're not the one to
more
ask
reds.
Which way to decide, obviously, because, you know, with the amount of tanks, obviously we can't decide.
Variety is key.
That's just our slogan now. Keith said, I never had success with Caridina shrimp until I used Brightwell. I will say it has been the best. We've had more success with Brightwell than other ones. I've had where some of the substrates needed to be cycled a little bit longer in order to do better, which was different for us. I was like, no, this isn't going to do good, and I wanted to give up on it. It took a lot longer to cycle and to mature. You know how maturing tanks that with the substrates and aqua soils take different times to mature. I promise you, like the tank will be right parameters. We've thrown in the shrimp. There's biofilm everywhere. You can see there's green on the glass and everything, but there's no breeding going on. And then you kind of just like give up on that tank for a little bit, and the tank finally matures, and then all of a sudden you just get a blast of breeding in the tank. So they do need to mature sometimes at a slower rate.
Great questions tonight. I don't know how far behind we are.
A little bit.
But I do have to talk about this next giveaway before we start this. All right. This is the last giveaway that we're doing on the live stream tonight. We'll try to catch them in chat and get it done. Hashtag swag. It is for a swag pack. We got a couple of t-shirts that are not TGOB t-shirts from Petco. There's a hat. There's also a bunch of stickers. There's an old Triple Crown magnet in there. And they're not just our stickers. These are stickers from the Fish Fam from all of the shows. I know there's some Vibe Aquatic bucket stickers in there, some flower horn stickers from him. I've got some I don't want to say. I don't want to say other channels, but I don't know where all the stickers are. So I need to find them before. But this will be a first of many swag packs that we give out. We got enough for every single week. But those people that are not able to make it to shows and stuff like that, this is your chance to get a bunch of the Fish Fam stickers. I literally went to the Keystone Clash table though and grabbed a sticker of every
And we
channel.
did that 2 years in a row. We didn't give the swag pack away the year before because
we
lost it.
We did. We made another one. So we have another one.
Oh, yeah.
I lost it. It was behind the printer.
What are your thoughts on Cuddle Stone use?
So we don't use it. Never really have. I think it's more of something that people might consider using for like snail tanks rather than shrimp tanks. There should be everything your shrimp need in the food and the water changes. So why add something else that might just pollute and cloudy up the water?
Johnny said, watching other shrimp channels, people sprinkle bacteria powder on substrate before setting up. What's your take?
we used to do that, and it used to just be a good amount of money to spend on a little tiny bottle of powdered bacteria. And I set up a bunch of tanks without it, and we just used the Microbacter 7. It's a liquid bacteria instead of a powder. It's got 7 strains of different bacterias that work with one another instead of fighting with one another. And liquid colonizes in 3 days, where powders only colonize in 7. So I don't know the price difference on the Microbacter 7 compared to the like the MK line was like the best line of powders, and then the SL Aqua had the magic powder. I think I can't remember the names of the MK ones, but they were expensive. That's all I remember. And I bought a 2-liter bottle of the Microbacter 7, and I've set up like 100 plus 300 tanks with it. So it's good stuff. I like liquid.
Big Dog said, "Hi, do you need a heater for shrimp tank? What is the coldest temperature you can have them in?"
We have our Neocaradinas outside all year round, no heaters, and they do just fine down in the 30s. So as long as they're inside or in a basement, I wouldn't worry about them getting too cold. Caradina, I've seen down into the 50s. I wouldn't risk it lower than 50, but before I put a heater in the tank, I'd probably heat the room. It's cold down there.
Welcome to Jenna's world. 90 tanks, guess they're not for sale. No. Have you tried the new season of Fortnite? No. I have given up on Fortnite after the last one. Still staying in strong on Call of Duty, and now Grant picked up RuneScape again, so now the whole family's playing RuneScape.
It's because the kids want to play it. I just want to be clear about that. But it's also a game that I can like no brain and just get up my levels, and that's why I need money. So if anybody's got RuneScape Gold, hit me up.
I see how to says chance of snows early, lows overnight in the mid-20s. This ain't the South I signed up for.
Yeah, it's been brutal. Like Chance messaged me the other morning, and he messaged me at like 7 in the morning saying it was cold. We didn't even wake up until noon. And I was like, dude, I didn't want to get out of bed. I just now woke up. My throat is dry. Like it's so dry in Florida during the wintertime because it's probably still more humid than it is wherever you live. But compared to June, July, and August, it's dry. I feel like I'm in Colorado. It's cold. It's dry. I'm dry.
Night Owl said, "Woohoo, my first scales print. I have so many, and I haven't even got them hung up yet. It's kind of depressing."
With how artsy you are, Drew, I figured you would have had a couple of prints by now.
Mike said, "So can the Neo survive in fluval
He's
stratum?"
artsy. He probably just makes his own.
Who interrupts someone?
I didn't want to forget. I like how you're talking to me now. I got you talking to me too.
So can the Neo survive in fluval stratum without the KH?
Absolutely. If you have stable pH, that is all you need. The problem that people are having when they use fluval stratum with their tap water at first is that every time they do a water change, the pH goes up, and then it slowly gets lowered by the stratum, and the KH gets absorbed, and then the pH goes from neutral to 5 or 6 until the substrate kind of exhausts itself, and then you can get back up to 7 neutral pH again. However, if you use no KH, there's breeders overseas, big ponds, Taiwan, where the pH is low. Like out of their tap water, they have 5 or 6 pH. It's not on limestone settlement like we have here in Florida. So they actually get the numbers that you would think for Caradina shrimp for their Neos and breed them in mass production. And then what happens is the wholesalers have to slowly acclimate them to our hard water that we have here in the United States. What's so funny?
Zen said Shelby's face was very clear about that. And Mike said, "Clip that, Zen." She said, "Done."
I don't remember
That
what it's for.
RuneScape isn't just for the kids. Mike said, "So can the..." Oh, wait. Yeah, we just answered that.
I PK'd a mill yesterday on an account that's less than 24 hours old. Get off me. I was having fun.
He caught all his shrimp, and I mean, he was that quick back on those games. I'm like, what are you doing? I still gotta box them all up. He's like, I'll be right there.
I just had to sell everything on the Grand Exchange, you know?
Yeah, she's like, kind of same question as Big Dog. My fish room is now an addition to the house and doesn't stay as warm. Found my shrimp tanks at 65 to 66 today. Are they okay at that temp throughout winter?
Yeah. Again, if it gets colder than that, a little space heater. It probably won't cost that much. And if you have it on a thermostat, it'll only kick on when it needs to be.
He just had to get his fix. Let me reiterate. This is wonderful because I'm the one who missed gaming so much.
She's playing it too.
And yeah.
It's not just me.
But I missed it, and I've been trying to get Grant to play video games or any game again, and he just hasn't had the want or need to. So it was really nice when he was like, you know what, I'll play RuneScape for a little bit. So it was really nice. But we're gonna do that last giveaway now. It is past that 2-hour mark.
No, hold on. Before we do this giveaway, I just want to talk about the other giveaway. For those that were not able to watch in attendance tonight, if you made it this far, congratulations. Here is your reward. Not including the empty tanks that are in the house. Just the empty tanks in our garage. How many? The person that comments on the video, do not comment on the live stream. You will not get credit. I will not see it. I will not even know the exact number until I count them this week when I go through the garage. Probably won't even know next week. To be completely honest, this is going to be a reward that's like 2 weeks later that I will announce on one of the holidays, whoever gets it right. So you got time. People got time to watch this far and make their decisions, but whoever gets the closest or the exact number will get a $50 gift card to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. Stephen P. automatically disqualified for not following directions.
I was waiting for you to say something. All right, let's give this giveaway.
But now,
away.
I know you're listening. If you could, please send me your address.
Yeah, that worked out. 35 entries. That doesn't seem right. Mike says, how often do you have a tank leak or break? How often does a new tank leak?
All right, hold on. Before this, Steven, I need the address because Layla has something to send you guys. So I don't want to forget. I keep forgetting to get her address.
Entries.
All right, so this is for the swag pack?
This is for the swag pack.
Hashtag swag.
They already did that. I was just making sure.
And what was the question that I interrupted?
I thought you answered.
Oh no.
How often do you have a tank leak or break? How often does a new tank leak?
So I would say our last tank break was last year at the Keystone Clash. And it was just a leak. It wasn't a break. Before that was when Alex Williamson came over the house and my dog hit the chair into a tank and cracked it. Besides that, there's a reason why we don't buy used tanks anymore. We had a 190-gallon tank that spewed water all over the floor. It was, a used tank. The good thing about these new tanks is hopefully you get 10 years out of them before they start leaking. Problem is, because they're all about the same age, in 10 years from now, I could have a disaster of an issue. Like every day I have a leaky tank or something like that for a year until I replace them all. I don't know what kind of setup we're going to have, but hopefully they hold up. And it's only about one a year, I'd say, if that. We've gone a whole year, and nothing's leaked or had to be replaced. So
now we have bought in cracked tanks by accident from Petco. That happens. I think that sometimes kids get a little too excited, lift a tank and crack them. But I mean, we're buying just the Aquarium ones. And I can't believe the amount of tanks that aren't cracked. But seriously, if aliens are real, they're newts. That one looks like a straight alien. It is just creeping me out. They're here. Aliens are real.
Earlier today, the female was positioned that she looked like a white leaf of the Java fern.
She looked like
Like
she
if you
tucked
were
herself in.
colorblind, she would have been perfectly camouflaged.
She tucked herself in. She's so cute. All right, let's do this giveaway. I just feel like it's weird. It's stuck. It's whatever. Let me fix it.
Mike Reardon.
Mike, I know you're here. You've been commenting this whole time too. So, congratulations. Just make sure to email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com.
As long as you're not one of the 5 people that just signed off. But Stephen P. coming in with 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you so much.
It is the giving season, and you guys support us an incredible amount. I hope it wasn't because I said give me your address. This was not what I asked for, but thank you so much. If you did get one of Steven's 5 gifts or one of Jeff Kane's 10 gifted memberships or one of Keith's 746N, can't forget that, gifted memberships, then please email us at thegardenofeater@gmail.com and you will get one of your exclusive members holographic TGOE stickers. We'll also send you a discount code for 10% off our site, tgoeshrimp.com. If you want to use that gift code, discount code during our Black Friday sale, let us know in the email and we'll send that to you early. Everything is buy 5, get 2 free shipping on orders over $100. But thank you 3. We don't have anything else to give out, but yeah, I feel like,
you know what? I should buy in bulk those little tiny little poppers, so every time someone gives that just little popper right in your face.
I would enjoy it.
That would be great. Thank you guys so much. Can't say it. Thank you enough, honestly. And thank you, Big Steve Glass Boxes, for the $1 super chat. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are awesome. We'll catch up with a couple more questions before we got to get off, but really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And Daniel said, just lost my blue dreams to a tank leak. Woke up yesterday to water in my office. Wanted to order tanks this weekend, but my wife is now concerned about the other tanks. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully it's just the one. Sometimes one big thing I've seen with people is scraping, and some of this silicone does go bad after some time for just like nicking it. I'm one to do that, so I don't actually use the razor near the edge anymore because of how many times I have scraped some of the silicone off, and that's where an issue can come.
I'm completely fine if it's green between my fingers all the way down. As long as this part right here I can see, then that's fine. The other thing is, though, don't give up. Always convince the significant other to bring more tanks in. There are leak detectors. So if they are worried or concerned about them in the future, put a leak detector underneath the tank, and maybe it'll wake you up in the middle of the night. You can take care of the problem rather than waking up to a disaster.
And Mike said, what's the best seller for Black Friday weekend?
What was?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't looked that up yet.
I don't know what it was. It was such a good mix
Ocean
this year.
Blues?
No. I thought
I know I
sold
a lot of yellow, or caught a lot of yellow
Blue.
King Kongs.
Yeah, I would say that was like more than normal. So that was crazy. Tangerine Tigers are up there and competing with it, just not as much. You know what? Quantity wise, I think it would be Tangerine for the Caradina. That one's a hard one. We're gonna have to look that up, and maybe we'll know it next week. Maybe write that.
We've
down.
been so busy. I haven't looked to see if we even did better than we did last year. Last year we were having all of the issues with the insurance, so I wasn't focused on selling anything at all. But I would say this year we did a little bit better because we sold mainly just shrimp. One of the things that's not really selling is, today we sold a good amount of dry goods, but I would say before in years past we sold a lot more salts and like during this month, and we didn't really sell like no large quantities of salt. I wonder if it's even available on the website. Watch, that's what it is.
And Steve, he said I was conducting the transaction before you asked for the address. That's funny. And Daniel said, "What a great live stream! Thank you so much. We appreciate you all." And we did
That's
have
not
a good
10
night.
more, is it? I just saw this thing
No, that was-
just
that
shifted
was-
over. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm too loud with the claps. All right. I just wanted to say I hope everybody had a fantastic, nice Thanksgiving as well. It was really nice for us. We really got to spend a lot of family time this week. I probably hung out with the kids more this week than I have in past Thanksgiving break. So it was really nice. And of course, I'm winning this one over every single day because I have way more time with her. And it's all because of you guys. We're allowed to chase our dreams and make that all happen, especially with Shelby being a stay-at-home, working from home mom now. So we have all of you guys to thank that. So that's what we were the most thankful for on Thanksgiving. So just wanted to let you all know. We'll see you guys next week. Later.
Have a good night. Thank you.